Welcome back. We are once again back working on the Datsun 521 MX-5 project. It's been a while since we worked on it because life finds a way to get in the way sometimes. But the last time that we worked on it, obviously you guys saw us when we got the front subframe on. But we worked a little bit behind the scenes and got the rear mocked into roughly place. We put the bed back on the truck, measured to find out where the center of the wheel well was, so that we could find the center lines for the rear axles, kind of mocked them into place, so we made sure that we have things lined up. So in order to get this to fit up, we found that we're gonna have to add some notches along the edge here just to take this material off so that it'll slide up onto the actual frame. So we're gonna get working on that so that way we can get this started and welded in and figure out what other kinds of tabs that we'll need to make to get it mounted. So we're gonna jump on in. Okay, so we were looking at it a little bit closer. Our original intent was to just actually weld the subframe onto the frame itself. However, looking at it, it's actually pretty close to these mounts and everything on here. And it makes sense for spacing wise if we actually just run an L bracket, weld it on to the frame itself and come out to pick up where the original mounting holes were to the NB Miata frame. So that will be nice because it'll actually still make this removable if for whatever reason we need to take it off to service it. And it'll make our job just a little bit easier as far as doing the mounts, because once we get the L brackets welded on, it's just a couple of holes and it bolts right up. So we're gonna get working on cutting off these remaining brackets that were here for the rear axle, as well as this one that was here for the brake line, and do a couple notches on here as well just for some clearance, and get that prepped so that we can get some L brackets in the near future, or some L channel in the near future, and we can weld that on and get this mounted. All right, so we got the tabs that we needed to cut off. Also added a couple notches onto these bed supports. I don't think we'll run into any kind of issues with that. There's 8 supports overall, and I just cut off a little bit on each one. It shouldn't compromise any strength. But the nice thing now is I can actually lift this up into place pretty much to where this bar is, and that's gonna be kind of our reference point for when we use the L channel to weld into this. So what we're going to work on is measuring this out to figure out what size we need, and then I'm going to send Joe off over to the metal store near his house. Well, he's available this week, and so next week when we jump back into it, we'll be able to weld that on, get everything leveled, and then hopefully get this bolted on. So we're gonna call it here for tonight, but we'll jump back in once we get everything that we need for the next step. All right, we're back on the back. We finally able to go and get a couple of L brackets. So it's 3/16, the same as the thickness as the subframe or the actual frame. So that way we should be able to weld it straight on with no real problems. I marked this piece out right here to match this tube that goes across and braces the frame. So that way we can slide this in. The idea is to have it to go in and basically provide the pickup points for the subframe. So we're gonna start with making this cut to get it into place, so then we can mark out where we need to miss these brackets on either side. And then all we have to do at that point to get the other side ready is basically make the same mirrored cuts. So I'm gonna start cutting this out and get this mocked in place, so then we can get all the rest of our cuts and we should be good to go. All right, so we did our notching in order to get these L brackets in place. As you can see, we notched around the existing brackets. We should be able to weld all around here and stuff, get some good contact as well as the underside. The big thing is at this point is just trying to get them to sit flat. We have a high spot here that'll need to be ground down, and then trying to, after that, get it level, which is gonna be a little bit tricky just because as opposed to when we did the front subframe, when it was supporting itself when we had it on the frame, we're gonna have to probably use some clamps, clamp it on, tack the other side, make sure that the subframe's still centered, and kind of do a little bit of back and forth. So that's what we're gonna jump on to next. All right, so it's been a little bit again since the last clip, as you might be able to tell by my cool new haircut. So we have the frame up on jack stands again. We went ahead and got the back leveled out so that we know at least from left to right that we're going to be level. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the plates we cut out last time, mark out, trim back, so that we have nice clean weld surface, and then we're going to take the level and try and match it up with this back section of the frame to make sure it's straight, and then tack it in. We're going to start with one side, and then we're going to run a straight piece of something across to the other side to make sure that we have a level surface, and then tack that one in as well. And then we can fully weld, and then we can start figuring out where we need to drill our holes to mount the subframe.
Alrighty, so we've got it clamped on. It's as close as we're gonna get it. It's pretty darn even, actually. Collin did a really good job with that, and we're gonna get to tacking this thing together and getting it all put together. Let's go. Alrighty, so if you follow me, we have successfully welded the top part of both sides. We were able to level both sides out. We used a very caveman way of...
A very sophisticated implement.
A very sophisticated instrument to measure out both sides, but it seems to be even. We have both sides welded on top. We're going to proceed with welding the underside and then mounting. We're gonna drill some holes and mount the bottom. It should be fun. Let's go. Alrighty, so we flipped the truck frame over and we welded the underside. So now we have both the top and underside of these little panels welded. So the next step is just to put on the subframe and size up where the holes are gonna go. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
And it's on. Obviously not. We just set it in place just to kind of get an idea for the next time we work on it. The plan is to wrap up for this video, and on the next one we're going to work on getting the suspension all put back on so we can get this pretty much back to a roller. So we hope you enjoyed watching our progress on getting this truck. Basically the frame is done at this point. There's a couple spots where we need to just do some small finish work, like doing a couple patches and things like that. But pretty soon here, we're gonna be moving on to actually doing some of the drivetrain installation. So we hope you are looking forward to that as much as we are, and we'll see you next time. The CB3 fabrication hardtops for the ND generation Miata are now available. If you are interested in ordering a hardtop, go to cb3fabrication.com. And if you would be interested in learning how to drive on a racetrack, Tract offers driving clinics as well as providing several sessions for more experienced riders. Go to tract.llc to learn more.